DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in on a glorious Thursday morning. It is gorgeous outside, a little chilly. It'll get to the upper 60s. I think we got a couple of days of beautiful spring weather, which is good because we had two stinker play-in games last night. None of them really were intriguing or all that close. Maybe the best thing was Miles Bridges getting thrown out of the game and throwing a mouthpiece at a fan, which he was very contrite about, by the way. I when I listened to that, I really felt bad for him. He did get kind of, I thought, jobbed on the call, and it was a quick tee, and his team was losing, and that was going to be their last game. I hope the league doesn't come down too hard on him. I hope the next two games, which are big games now, will be better. Is that a doubleheader tomorrow, the way they do that?
I believe so. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. It is a doubleheader.
Yeah. So it'll be the Atlanta Hawks at Cleveland, and believe it or not, the lower seed is the favorite in that game, even though it's at Cleveland. The Hawks, who played decently last night, we'll get into that in a second, they are the 3-point favorites in that game. And then the Clippers will take on New Orleans, that looked like a darn good team last night. Maybe it's because San Antonio really is not a very good team at all, and evidence that maybe 10 teams in the play-in too much? I don't know. I like it because it makes the regular season more intriguing, but it certainly doesn't make this first round that good because that was a bad game last night, even with Greg Popovich coaching in it. And he was very nice to the sideline reporter in that very first little interview. Maybe he's mellowing in age. I don't know.
I think it has to do with having a young team, too. You know, you can't berate, especially nowadays. I mean, I know it might be a cliche to say, but you can't berate these young kids anymore. He has, like, his arm over his shoulder there. I'm sure Tim Duncan is, like, having whiplash from being surprised because he used to get the brunt of a lot of pop yelling and screaming.
Right. Anyway, we've got that all set up. Can't wait for Saturday. That, of course, the Grizz and the bad guys, Patrick Beverley. He's not the star. He's the guy I think we're all going to love to hate in this series, the Timberwolves and Memphis starting at 2:30 on Saturday. Yesterday, a perfect game en route for the Dodgers and their star Clayton Kershaw, who ended up being pulled after 80 pitches with a perfect game. He faced 21 batters, J-Mo. He struck out 13 guys.
That's just he hit his pitch count, Dave. You know, got to take him out, hit his number.
He hadn't been pitching because he's been injured. He's coming off of an injury, so this is the first real outing for him. And the pitch count was 80. After the sixth inning, apparently Dave Roberts went to him, and they agreed. We'll give you one more inning or up to 85 pitches. And, of course, he mowed through everybody in the seventh, and they were at 80 pitches. And he did not fight it. He said, perfect games, those are selfish goals. We're trying to win here. I would have loved to stay, but bigger things, man, bigger things, bigger picture. And he's right. As much as I hate to say it, I don't believe that would have been the case even 12 years ago. But even it is the case now.
Even more than that, though, I think there's a devaluing of the perfect game in general nowadays. I mean, certainly when you're looking for team success, but even more so than just not wanting to be selfish and not caring about individual goals, I think there's a devaluing of what the perfect game has meant for so long. In the last couple perfect games, they've been by guys that are totally forgettable. Right? The last one was, I can't think of the guy's name.
He obviously was very forgettable.
He was a career Philip Humber. He's like a career minor leaguer. He had one of the last perfect games. Just total devaluing of it. Used to be very celebrated.
Why? Because the name isn't a big name? I am telling you, if you get through a game, 27 batters up, 27 batters down, I don't care who the heck you are. That's an unbelievable accomplishment. Like, Google this very quickly. How many perfect games have there been? And there have been a couple that have been finished by other players. It's not like this is the first time a guy had a perfect game and he's been pulled. But, of course, most of this is recently. This never would have occurred in my childhood. A guy, a pitcher, a starting pitcher, was supposed to go 7 or 8 innings back in those days. And unless he got tired, he was going to go all 9.
It appears there's been 23 perfect games.
So that's not a lot. You're going back to the 1800s.
Not one since 2012, where there was 3 that season. Philip Humber, Matt Cain, and Felix Hernandez.
Philip Humber is not a big name.
At all.
Agree. But still, 27 up, 27 down. That's a major accomplishment. Only 23 in the history of the game. Come on. Could have been 24 yesterday, but the Dodgers said no. There was one other, and I've been meaning to chide my Yankee fan, my friend who loves and lives with the New York Yankees. I meant to text him this morning that Vladdy Guerrero said hello.
2 bombs.
3 bombs.
Oh, he had a third one.
Yeah, 2 against Garrett Cole. So this is a great story. He plays in Toronto, right? A hockey town. You're supposed to be tough if you live in a hockey town, correct?
That's what I've heard.
Okay. So Guerrero dives at first base to make it out on a ground ball. And he gets spiked inadvertently, not a dirty play. He gets spiked by the Yankee base runner. He immediately gets up, and he's shaking his hand, and you see blood. He's wiping blood off of his pant leg. And in true hockey form, he goes into the dugout. I don't know if they stitched it up, but they taped it all up. And out he comes back in, steps into the batter's box against Cole. He's blood all over his pants. Boom! A 427-foot home run. 3 home runs for Guerrero. How can you help but love this guy? I mean, he's really and truly one of the new faces of baseball.
So we were talking, I can't remember if it was me and you or me and Bryant talking the other day about stars in baseball and the lack of star power, but this guy, just with the name alone being Vlad Guerrero's son, legitimate star power, and he's just fun to watch. Like you said, he always has like a smile on his face. He's shaking it off, tough guy. I love Vlad Guerrero Jr.
He and the Padres shortstop, who they were big in the All-Star game last year, too. Gosh, I can't remember his name.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, Fernando Tatis. The 2 juniors, they are the faces of baseball in this new generation, and it makes it fun to watch. All right, I got a question for you. I got texted this stat, which I think is really cool. And so I ask you, since Nick Saban has been the head coach at Alabama, how many SEC teams have fired their coaches? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All 13 other schools have fired at least one coach in Nick Saban's tenure at Alabama. How many do you think the total number is?
I'm going to say 20.
You're not even close.
It's more than that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my gosh.
Let me give you a hint.
40.
2 teams, Arkansas and Tennessee, have fired 6 coaches.
Oh, my
6.
God. Time flies.
And these are all head coaches. I'm not talking about assistants. Head coaches. Tennessee's fired 6, and Arkansas's fired 6.
So is
or
it,
6 have left. Let's
so
put
like
it that way.
82.
No, that's too high.
Too high.
53, somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
53. Arkansas's fired 6. Auburn's fired 4. Florida's had 5 new coaches. Georgia 2. Kentucky 3. LSU 3. Missouri 3. Mississippi State 4. Ole Miss 5. South Carolina 3. Tennessee 3. A&M 4.
A couple of those schools weren't even in the SEC when Nick Saban got the job first, right? So they've come into the league, and he's immediately made their lives miserable.
Oh, and Vandy 5. So you have 2 schools, Arkansas and Tennessee, with 6 coaches gone. Florida and Vandy each have 5. So does Ole Miss. I mean, that's amazing.
I mean, it's just it really does. There's so many Nick Saban stats that speak to his obscure greatness, and that's another one for sure.
That's to me incredible, and you're doing that, right? You have to win at Alabama, or you're going to be let go, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Imagine
in his tenure, and I'm sorry, I should have the number of years that he's been the head coach there, but that to me Well, it shows you. It means more, right? Isn't that their slogan? It just means more in the SEC. You got a winner, you're going to be let go, and that's very clear. Tennessee 6, Arkansas 6, 3 different schools, including Ole Miss 5. I mean, that is unreal. And this guy at the place where you have to win to keep your place, he just keeps on winning.
Nick Saban has been the coach since 2007. So that's, 15?
15 years, 53 other coaches in his same league have been let go because they couldn't keep up with him.
Losing NFL record, though, Dave, that's always going to be a sting on his legacy.
Well,
he's 15 and 17 in the league.
He never stuck around long enough with any team. He, I believe, would have been successful, but this was more his thing. You're in the league, you can't be a dictator.
No, you cannot.
You've got to be a guy who puts forth game plans and figures out strategy, but you've got to get along with your locker room. You can't dictate to them. You have to compromise, I guess, with them, especially with the stars. And this is more up Nick Saban's alley.
No kidding. Like I said, losing record. Also, just noticing here, Cleveland Browns, he was the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns in the early 90s, along with Bill Belichick, which means the Browns employed both Nick Saban and Bill Belichick and don't have any Super Bowl rings to show for it.
Is it jinxed?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe so.
Haslam jinx? We're going to talk with Russell Copeland a little bit later, and I just saw the story is breaking that Baker Mayfield on some podcast said that he feels disrespected by the Cleveland Browns, that they dissed him. Well, first of all, they gave him a heck of a contract wherever he ends up next year. He's making $19 million guaranteed, 18.9. I'm going to round it up. $19 million bucks. So if you want to disrespect me for 19 mil, come on, baby. I'm okay. Secondly, he'll get another chance somewhere. Even if he's a backup, he's going to make decent money. And if there is disrespect, it's because he didn't play well enough. They wouldn't be after Deshaun Watson if Baker Mayfield turned out to be a great player. He turned out to be a decent pitchman, whichever company, I forget which it is, which is terrible.
Oh, Progressive.
Progressive. He makes good commercials. He looks really like a nice guy. And he should have kept that image in post-game press conferences because when he loses, he's a crybaby.
No, and no doubt about that. And I've heard Baker likes Baker quite a bit. But also, I think he hurt himself a little bit playing hurt this year. But also, Deshaun Watson's maybe a top 5 quarterback in the league. And you mentioned being a backup. Marcus Mariota went from starting in Tennessee when he lost that job to Ryan Tannehill. He's been a backup in Oakland, or I guess in Las Vegas for the last couple of years. And now he just got another starting job. So in terms of backup quarterbacks you can sign, Baker Mayfield, not a bad job. He would be the best backup quarterback in the league.
Let me just say this. If Mitchell Trubisky has a shot at starting somewhere else, Baker Mayfield's going to have a chance.
No doubt.
I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. So I mentioned that these playing games were not really good. Pelicans' final score with San Antonio was 113-103. It was not as close as that. One thing that was cool was, did you see the atmosphere? That is one thing I will also say about the play-in games. The atmosphere in these stadiums is the same as a playoff. It is postseason. There is elimination that is involved. And last night at the Smoothie King Center, I've never seen a crowd in the Smoothie King Center. It's always dull, and there's echoes almost in the stadium when the games are being played. Last night, it was magic. It was alive. Did you see the warm-up of Zion Williamson?
No. He warmed up with the team?
He warmed up before the team came out.
I didn't even see that.
Injured players do that all the time. Right?
Yeah, right. Get some shots up.
He came out, and it was on ESPN in their pregame show, and he went up and did a 360 dunk that was spectacular.
Showing off.
Well, he was showing off, but it shows he could play. He's not playing. I thought, well, maybe he's going to play tonight. Maybe he's going to shock everybody and come out and play. He hasn't played all year, so I doubt he's really going to do that. He looked about the same in terms of weight. You could still do a 360 dunk. You're in decent shape, I guess. But then after the game, C.J. McCollum said, folks, enjoy this because we're going to get a lot of this. We're going to get a lot of wins coming. He had 32 points, 19 in the second quarter. And when you start thinking about this team, Ingram and McCollum, if Zion stays, and then Valanciunas, they gave him the ball down the stretch yesterday, and they look pretty good.
Honestly, I'm very surprised with how well that Steven Adams and Valanciunas trade has suited both teams. Early in the season, I was very upset with kind of the way Valanciunas was playing for them. But last night, like you said, they gave him the ball down the stretch. He looked pretty good. And speaking of the crowd, too, that you were talking about, I think elimination's a huge factor because, like you said, it seemed like even on the floor, like all the security workers, everybody was so close to the court down the stretch. It was an unbelievable environment, maybe even more so than just a regular first-round playoff game because of that elimination factor. It's been a great idea. I love the play-in tournament.
I think it is really good. And now they'll play the Clippers Friday. The Clippers are 4-point favorites in that game. And I can't see the Clippers losing to this team. Can you?
I think it'll be close. I think so too. The Spurs, like you said, are not very good, and we saw it against the Grizzlies. They're big guys. Their post players they're too young and too weak. They're not big enough.
Other than Murray, who else scares you?
Exactly. Well, they got Devin Fad. Like you said, all those other guys are too young. They can maybe make shots and stretches, but they're just not very scary. I think the Clippers certainly can handle it.
And then last night, Trae Young was really good early in the game. He had 24 points, and he ended up with a double-double with 11 assists. Clint Capella, who would have known? He was a force, baby. 15 points, 17 rebounds. Yeah. I felt bad for Miles Bridges. I mentioned him getting tossed, and that was a destruction.
A masterclass on what to say, like you mentioned, a masterclass on what to say if you find yourself losing your temper on a basketball court, though. Because what he said afterwards was, all players should write that down if that ever happens to you and say exactly what he said.
Well, but you got to have the history to be able to say it. Part of the thing that compelled me to feel bad for the guy was he's never done anything like that before. And he is a soft-spoken and fairly articulate kid. And then you go, hey, you guys, he says, you guys know me. This is not me. I'm a soft-spoken guy. I don't flash out. That's how he termed it.
He just wanted to win.
I believed it. But you know what? Atlanta was really good in the third quarter. 42-24, broke up in the game right there, and it was all over. So they play Cleveland on Friday.
They can't beat the Cavs.
So then you're putting big money because the Hawks are actually the favorites in the game. I'm a little surprised at line 2, and I tend to agree. I think Cleveland will win that game. It's in Cleveland.
I think so, too.
Unless that team is done. Like, sometimes 1-2 is more important than anything else. And if Cleveland is disappointed that they lost that game, that could have gotten them the 7 seed, and, you got to play the number 1 seed if you win the game. So you'd have to end up playing Miami.
That's a tough series, too.
I mean, that's a tough series. So sometimes you got to wonder, do you really want to play? That's the big question that I have in this game. I think Atlanta does.
And to your point, too, you talked about young teams. We talked about it all week, too, and the Cavs really have no playoff experience, and the Hawks are pretty hungry, I think, for more playoff success, or some playoff success, I guess I should say. But I just think Cleveland, the Hawks have been really good down the stretch here, but Cleveland has just been really good all season long. I just can't pick it. They got 2 big guys playing inside. I just think they're too physical. I think Cleveland wins that game. Like you said, at home. I can't believe they're underdogs.
Last thing, yesterday, more news on the University of Memphis Tiger basketball front, and that is DeAndre Williams, who has been the heart and soul of this team. There is no question about it. Now, he's 25 years old or 26 years old. Nobody can really tell. I know he'll be 26 for sure when the basketball season starts next year. He declared for the NBA draft, but he's not getting an agent, and he has opened up the door to return. I believe there's probably NIL money out there for him. Would you rather play in an empty G League stadium with guys that are 30 years old? Well, that's close to his age, I guess. Or would you? And what is the G League guy average, like 38,000 or something like that?
Same like AAA baseball, I think.
It seems like you could make more with NIL money playing on national TV in front of big crowds, right? If you stay with the U of M. So if he doesn't make the NBA, and I don't think he's going to, and I only wish him the best. I would love it if he was invited to the combine and he knocked them all out and he ended up getting even a two-way deal, which I think is decent money, I'd say go for it, buddy. I'm all for you. I really I want DeAndre Williams to succeed. But I don't even think he'll get an invitation to the Combine, to be honest.
I don't think so either.
And if that's the case, I hope he comes here because that G League deal that we were just talking about, that could be had any year. He can still do that and come back, get your NIL money, which would probably be better than the G League deal, and have one more year of glory. I know you're a lot older than a lot of the other guys on the team, but use that to your advantage. Be a leader. Become a better people person.
But it sounded like in that letter he wrote that I'm definitely not coming back to Memphis, though, right? If I come back.
I did not get that.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I think, to me, Lester Quinones would be the guy that would not come back, and he's in the same boat. I don't know that he'll get an invite to the Combine. I think he's got to show that he can shoot 40% from three-point range. If he does that, he becomes a more valuable asset. He's a good defender. He turned the ball over too much this year. He didn't do that in the past. He wants a place where he's going to get more shots. So depending on who comes back with Memphis. Now, here's the most interesting thing that I saw. The Tigers got Elijah McCadden, a kid from Georgia Southern.
I watched him play yesterday.
What, you just take a look at YouTube video?
Well, I got that Synergy where you watch all the clips or whatever, so I went through and watched all. He posts up a lot. He's a big guard, really big guard.
Well, he averages 4.5 rebounds.
Yeah,
right?
So that's what it seems like. He's more of a forward, but he's guard size. So he's a physical guy.
He's like the answer to Earl Timberlake.
Maybe so.
Okay.
But he seems a little more sure-footed and sure-handed.
He's played 115 games, and I would have to say that. He's not injured either.
No.
Which is, what I think Earl Timberlake has been the whole time.
And content coming off the bench because he did that last year as a sixth-man.
Right. Sixth man of the year in the Sun Belt. But this is interesting, and he'll be with us tomorrow, Jason Munz. Jason Munz is doing this series of articles predicting the transfer portal. So I'm guessing he does it as confidence level of coming to Memphis. I'm assuming it's 1 to 10. So who's the number one prize in the portal at this moment?
Davis.
Kendrick Davis, the point guard at SMU, the reigning American Athletic Conference Player of the Year. Do you know what Jason Munn's confidence level is that he's coming to Memphis?
Over 50?
It shocked me. Well over 50.
Wow, 85.
Well, it's close because it's only 1 to 10.
Oh, so 8.
So round it up.
9.
9. 9! I got to ask him how he feels. That's a 9. But he'll be on with us tomorrow. Also, they're in, I don't think his level is high on this one, but they are in on a big guy named Johnny Broome. Broome is the big man from Morehead State. So he put out his list of his top 8. This is what happens when you become an experienced mid-level guy, where that poor mid-level school has groomed you and they have developed you, and your last year you're going to go to a major program. Here's his last 8. Duke, Gonzaga, Houston, Kentucky, Auburn, Louisville, Memphis. I must be missing one. But those are the top 7 anyway, and Memphis is in that group. Kentucky, I think, is considered the favorite. But a chance to get that guy. Wow. So you think about who's coming back, who could still come back, like Williams and Quinones. Who knows about Amani Bates? Even with the NOA from that's the notice of allegations from the IARP, if indeed he gets Kendrick Davis and you have the makings of all these guys, this could still be a really good year.
I saw a graphic posted about Kendrick Davis yesterday, too, of all the teams, I think he posted, that contacted him. Purdue, Georgetown, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Kansas, Houston, A&M, Memphis, Texas, Kansas State, you name it.
The kid.
Florida.
The kid is a prolific scorer at the collegiate level. He's just faster than everybody.
No doubt.
When he blew by Lester Quinones, that convinced me this kid is special. He can be a little selfish, but when he wants to, he gets guys involved. He really does. And you can ask those 2 twin brothers who were so good for SMU this year, who got him the ball. It was Kendrick Davis. So, now this guy's the real deal. It would be amazing if he came to Memphis. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. I mentioned outdoor spaces because we love our homes now. The pandemic really has taught us to, I guess, fluff up the nest, make it your place. And they got the best things going. At Family Leisure right now, all the new patio furniture is hitting the floor on a regular basis. And I'm telling you, I just got a brand new set of patio furniture, a table and chairs that are just, well, they're really cool looking. They are. State-of-the-art, brand new 2022 in-stock hot tubs. They're ready for delivery. There's deals on play gyms, trampolines with all that netting now to make it safe. It's really cool. Grills, the outdoor kitchens, which are amazing. All happening with new stuff every day at Family Leisure. And our title sponsor for this hour of the program, as always, is Homer Skelton Hyundai. Homer Skelton, where you never pay more than sticker price on a new car. So that's the new deal, in my opinion. A lot of dealerships, the car business, they live by the law of supply and demand, right? And there's not very many new cars. The chip shortage is real. That's why we're probably going to have a bunch of chip manufacturing companies open up in America because we've been getting them from elsewhere. But once that happens, things will, I guess, return to some normalcy. But at the moment, there's such a shortage that when cars come in, dealerships are jacking up the price. They're not doing that at Homer Skelton Hyundai. They've raised the bar. This is the way car business should be done. Go find out for yourself. Get on Lamar. It's Highway 78 when you get into Mississippi, and the very first exit is Craft Road. Go see my friend Chris True and all the gang. They take care of you the right way, and they never charge you more than sticker price on a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. We'll pause for a second. It's always NFL Day in the sporting world. Hey, Baker Mayfield opened up the door a little bit today, plus the draft is right around the corner. Our man, Russell Copeland, he's got all the answers for you. He comes your way in just a minute.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, fellas. It's Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want to make you aware of something. Did you know that April is Diamond Month? Well, it is. And if your wife or your girlfriend or maybe your daughter has a birthday in April, diamond is her birthstone. If your wedding anniversary is in April, then your wife surely deserves a diamond. Whatever the occasion, a small gift-wrapped box containing beautiful diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers will always hit a home run and make you a hero in her eyes. A ring or a pendant, earrings or bracelet. You just can't go wrong with a piece of diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers. It'll be a gift that she'll treasure for many years. For 5 decades, Russell Brothers has been helping Memphis men find the very best in diamond jewelry for their sweethearts. In yellow or white gold, in platinum or sterling, you cannot go wrong with a gift of exquisite diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Who's ready to spring clean and save some green?
Hunter Johnston
And Colin Johnston here from DeSoto Auto Sales.
This month we're on a mission
to help you cash in when you clean out your garage.
So stop making payments on a car that's ruining your life.
Because you could clean up in a nicer, newer car.
And possibly lower your monthly payment in the process.
It's out with the old and in with the new.
Only during our Spring Clean and Save Some Green sales event.
So dust off that old ride you hate driving.
And trade up when you bring it in today.
Because you could drive a nicer, newer car.
And possibly lower your monthly payment in the process.
Plus, our For the People credit approval process could be the fresh start you need.
So let's spring clean and save some green.
You could save up to $4,000 on a nicer, newer car, depending on the car you choose.
I'm Hunter.
And I'm Colin. And we're your dealers for the people.
See all my rides at DeSotoAutoSales.com.
That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines the actual discount. Offer absolutely expires on April 30th, 2022.
Have you ever wondered what's inside your air ducts? Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. If you are one of many who suffers from bad allergies, especially in the Mid-South, and would like to improve the indoor air quality of your home, then Choate's Air Duct Cleaning could be a solution for you and your family. Air duct cleaning has been proven to help people with allergies and other respiratory issues by removing buildup of debris from your home's air supply. Air duct cleaning will also help eliminate dust from building up in your house. Therefore, you don't have to dust as much either. And air duct cleaning is also shown to help improve the performance of your air conditioning and heating system. Choates is the name you can trust for all your indoor air quality needs. So call Choates today at 755-4797 or visit our website at choateshvac.com to schedule a free video inspection to help you breathe a little easier. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you're looking for more out of your battery? We can help. If you're in need of higher performance, we'd go with Duralast Platinum. It's the best choice for premium power design for your vehicle. And the line now includes EFB and AGM technology, which means we've got the right Duralast Platinum battery for you. And they're only available here at AutoZone. That's why we're America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2020.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Lonely feeling deep inside. Find a corner where I can hide. Silent footsteps crowding me.
That's the Guess Who, isn't it?
Sudden darkness.
How about that? They've changed my little music thing here.
Just some additions.
Yeah. Got to get some Tom Petty in there.
All right, we can do that.
Okay. I like that song, though. I should let everybody know we're going to talk NFL with our good friend Russell Copeland. Maybe a little Tiger football, too, because a week from tomorrow, spring game, 7 o'clock at, do we now say Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium?
Does it start now? Yeah.
Does it start now? I mean, I want to be fair. We're an entity that is all about advertising, correct? So if they're paying the money, even though I think they got a heck of a deal, if they're paying the money, then we should do it. Do we officially say that now?
It looks like it. It looks like we officially say it now.
Okay. A week from tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, not to be confused with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. The Tigers against the Tigers. It'll be Gunnell against Hennigan. Can't wait for that. That'll be a week from tomorrow. Russell Copeland brought you in part by James Davis, the perfect man for him because he's always Natalie dressed. I mean, people don't look much better than Russell Copeland. And, James Davis, the home of the Paul Battendley suit deal, 2 for $8.95. You can't beat the material. You can't beat the fit, from classic fit to trim. They really make you look good. And for $8.95 for 2 classic suits, it's amazing. Hey, we're getting back to the office. Time to dress up casually again. James Davis to the rescue, because you want to look nice at work. They got 5-pocket and performance fabric and cotton fabric, all kinds of pants. There is an amazing array and an incredible selection of denims, too. And when we're talking about a good supply, how about sports shirts? Button up for the office, maybe polos for the golf course, or you can wear polos to work these days. I know we do here, and I know you're working out. James Davis is working with you. The new workout stuff that is the best to wear is Task. It goes a long way. It's a combination of cotton and bamboo combining to perform with you. So you want to look good when you work out and get the most out of your clothing. You get Task at James Davis Men's Store, and, of course, the Stance System. So popular, it's now about a 4-week turnaround for your custom-fit pants or shirt, but it's only to be found at James Davis Men's Store. It's the men's store of Memphis in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Russell Copeland, a little bit of news today in the National Football League. It comes from Baker Mayfield, who says he's been disrespected by the Cleveland Browns. You say yay or nay?
I say no. I think when you're the overall pick for the Cleveland Browns, I think when you look at Baker Mayfield, you have to look at, what progression are you going for your franchise? And I don't think that he is the quarterback that can get them, to the next level. And when you look at it, there's not a whole lot of teams that's knocking on the door for the services of Baker Mayfield. So that says a whole lot there. But I think Deshaun Watson, the football player, puts him in a whole total different situation as far as competing in that division against Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. I've said it all along. I think Baker Mayfield's success is predicated simply on the running game. And I think now you have to look at Jared Goff. When you look back at Jared Goff, was able to lead the Rams team to a Super Bowl, and Sean McVay said, I need a quarterback that I can open the playbook up. He's a first-round quarterback. He's traded. So it's the same type of situation. You want to win now, and I don't think Baker Mayfield gives them the best chance to win.
It is interesting to me. I think part of the disinterest in Baker Mayfield is the fact that he's guaranteed $19 million this year, 18.9 to be exact. So I think if you're a team out there and you're willing to take a chance on a quarterback that might be a starter, might be a backup, you're not going to spend $19 million this year. He probably would be more in demand the following year. But I don't think he's disrespected either because he had his chance. If he were a great quarterback, Russell, they wouldn't have taken a chance on Deshaun Watson.
Absolutely. And you're talking about the $19 million, Dave. If a quarterback can get you to the playoffs and get you to the Super Bowl, you will eat that $19 million. The contract is not an issue because we see quarterbacks getting traded and they get extensions. Deshaun Watson, for example.
Yeah.
So the money issue, I don't think is a problem. I think it's the play of Baker Mayfield with the $19.8 million with the $20 million. But, as I said it before, overall draft pick, I just don't think Baker Mayfield, from a leadership standpoint and leading this team to the direction where the Cleveland Browns want to be, I just don't think he's the quarterback.
All right, the draft is what everybody's talking about. It's still a few weeks away. But it is a major event now on everybody's sports calendar. We always spend probably a month and a half or two talking about it before we finally get to it. We talked a little bit about the quarterbacks. Of course, that's always the number one discussion. But I want to ask you about the quality of the draft. And when I say quality, I talk about the star power at the top. But I want to talk about the depth this year of the draft as well. Where do you place this draft? How good of a collegiate crop is there?
This is one of the best drafts that I've seen in a long time when you talk about depth, when you talk about the first and second round, but also you can get a lot of talent in the third and fourth rounds. And I'm looking at the wide receivers, starting at that position. A couple of years ago, Dave, there was 13 wideouts that were taken in the first and second round. Last year, there were 10. I think this year's draft here, I think you will see that same type around 13, 14 wide receivers taken in this draft. When you look at it at the top of it, you look at Garrett Wilson, you look at Jameis Williams from Alabama. He has a torn ACL, but there's Traylon Burks, there's Chris Olave, then there's Drake London. That's 5 there. Then you may even get Jahan Dotson in that first round. But we're talking about the second and third round. You look at John Mechie in Alabama. You look at our own Calvin Austin. You're going to hear names that you haven't seen schools play a lot, such as Jalen Tolbert at South Alabama. You got Dale Robinson at Kentucky. You got Sky Moore at Western Michigan. You also got Alec Pierce at Cincinnati, Christian Watson at North Dakota. That's my example at the wide receiver position, how deep they are. But also, I like the edge rushers, the defensive end. I think they could easily be 7 or 8 taken in the first round, also with the offensive linemen as well. I think there's a lot of offensive linemen in this depth, and there's a lot of cornerbacks in this depth. I think what you're going to look at is that will there be 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round, or could there possibly be 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round? If you have 3, then you'll see your run on your defensive end, you'll see your run on your offensive line. If you have 4 to 5 quarterbacks taken, now that means that some other teams are going to say, hey, we can get some depth in the second round, and then that's when you'll see a lot of these wide receivers go in the second round. Also, you'll see some cornerbacks go. But it's going to start with the quarterback position, Dave.
What about running backs? Is that Is that still the way it seems to me is that a running back has become a devalued commodity, except for those that are really stars, that people really know they go up high. You don't usually see a 27th pick in the first round go to a running back. You might see the first 10 if a guy is destined for greatness, or they think. Then you might see that. But otherwise, I don't think you see first-round picks middle or end of the round because it is not the product that it used to be. We don't use the running game like we used to. Is there a great running back in this draft?
Well, I don't see Saquon Barkley or Ezekiel Elliott in this draft, but I think you'll see a run of running backs come toward the second round when you look at White at Arizona State University. I like Kenneth Walker at Michigan State. I think he's an every down back. I think you'll see him go high in the second round. You also got Breece Hall at Iowa State. And we saw this guy play a lot at Cincinnati, Jerome Ford. I think those guys there can go into the second round. But you're talking about the undervalue of running backs. You can get a running back in the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth round, and they can still contribute for you. So unless you have a home run hitter like a Saquon Barkley, and even when you look at him, he's not measured up to the bill that he's supposed to be. He's had a lot of injuries. So you can get a running back in the second, third, fourth round, and even in the sixth and seventh round, they can be able to play. So that's the position that's undervalued, Dave.
If we are prioritizing in the game as it is played today, if you're a general manager, is the number one thing you have to have a quarterback, the number two thing a left tackle, the number three thing an edge rusher or a defensive lineman that is a dominating kind of player? Are those the top three, or how would you prioritize?
Absolutely. I think you have to look at a quarterback first, because you look at the draft and you look at what Cincinnati was able to do with Joe Burrow. If you have a franchise quarterback, you build around that quarterback. You got to get an offensive tackle, a left tackle. You build an offensive line around him, but you have to be able to stop a quarterback. So you got to have that edge rusher on the defensive end. And you talk about playmakers and wide receivers. You can get playmakers in the second and the third round. You can get them in the first round. But to me, you got to have an offensive tackle. You got to have a quarterback. And you got to have an edge rusher. I think those three positions for me is where I start my offense and I start my defense. And then I build around, get a shutdown corner, I get a safety, get a linebacker, get wide receivers. And then the last to be built to me is going to be the running back position. And also you can fill in second, third round free agency at the tight end position.
I was just going to say, so the tight end is really, and I believe we saw that in franchise tags, the tight end is your least important at this moment in the game commodity.
Well, when you look at the running back position, I think if you get a good tight end, when you look at Travis Kelce and you look at those type of players, then yes. But those players right there, they come far and in between. And you can get one when you can get a guy that can go out and can run the scene. Yes, but right now the tight end and the running back position, you can get them with a franchise tag around 10, 11 million compared to quarterbacks at 35 billion. Wide receivers are at 22, 23 million, so on and so forth. But yes, they are kind of undervalued as well.
That is Russell Copeland. Next week, we'll talk about the Blue-Gray game, or Friday Night Lights, whatever we're calling it, because a week from tomorrow, it's the annual spring game over at the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Russell, as always, we appreciate it. We'll get your storylines on that game next week. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Dave.
This portion of the show brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the tune-ups. And the tune-ups are so critical for the longevity of your system. I'm serious. Twice a year. You get a tune-up in the winter, and you get a carbon monoxide leak safety check. They actually take a camera, put it up in your system, and then you need it to make sure your system is efficient, your house gets cooled when it gets hot, and it's going to get hot. You know that. And this one, they check to make sure your Freon supply is correct, that there are no leaks. So they tune it up, they make it efficient, keeps your energy bill down, makes the system last longer, and you know everything is safe and supplied. All you got to do is call 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. We will chat with Ron Higgins, our SEC historian, in just a second. I do want to let you know how much Memphis loves golf. Even city government, hey, they have invested in golf. Overton Well, that's getting redone. Pine Hill is being completely renovated. Fox Meadows is going to get new greens here in the next few weeks. Public golf has never been better. There is a new app for your phone, Memphis Public Links, where you can make tee times, you can view special offers, get tournament information, find out the latest golf news, and virtually stay in touch. All you have to do is download it on the Apple App Store. There are several new golf tournaments this year, including the Mayor's Cup, and there will be a Player of the Year based on performances throughout the season. Go to the Public Links website. You can find out more. You just can't beat Memphis golf. Galloway's in perfect shape. Audubon is right in the heart of the Poplar Corridor, and it is a true test of golf for any level of player. The city is invested in public golf like never before. If you haven't played a city course in a while, try it. I guarantee you'll love it. Back in a minute. To Baton Rouge we go, and Ron Higgins, he's right around the corner.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm with you, Mallory, and we're both with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. Well, a lot of people think about buying or selling a home being as much fun as having root canal. We can tell you that if you go about it the right way, it's like winning the lottery.
That's right, Sheldon. If you prepare prior to your home search or home sale, which includes using us as your agents, you'll feel like you've accomplished every objective you set out to attain, and you've won the lottery.
If you value experience and knowledge and rely upon those that can guide you to a successful conclusion, there's no better call to make than to us. Even after talking to 2 to 3 other real estate brokers, most people come back to us because their friends have told them that when you want the job done, call Shell Done.
Or Mallory Moves Memphis in whatever part of town you're in.
Call or email me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Or you can reach me, Hugh Mallory, at 497-9756.
That's Shell Done Rosengarten at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. Do it now so you can win the lottery.
Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine is celebrating their 35th year. Come in today and choose from a big selection of tequilas, vodkas, and over 70 different single malts. Bourbon whiskey fans will find over 200 bourbons and whiskeys from around the world, along with wines from every region for all you wine enthusiasts. Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine, 146 Highway 72, Suite 102 in Collierville. It's next to Captain John's Barbecue. Open every day, including Sundays from 10 to 7 for football and all sports fans. Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine, celebrating 35 years with you.
Juicy Seafood in South Haven at 775 Goodman is your next destination. Incredible seafood and a great bar as well. Happy hour daily from 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Great beer specials. Buy 2, get 1 free. A bucket special of beers is just $18. Happy hour cocktails Monday through Thursday, 2 to 6 p.m. Buy 1, get 1 half off all liquor. Wine specials daily from 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. $4 and up. The feeling as you walk in is fun. It's like being on a cruise ship without the water. It's great for the whole family. Nice and intimate with real hand staff and great service. So if you're looking for some great fresh Gulf seafood, they got it at Juicy Seafood in South Haven. Great for guys and gals night out to watch the game or that overdue date night. Great shrimp and oysters from the Gulf, Alaskan crab legs, fresh lobster, awesome signature dishes like Mississippi farm-raised catfish, and seafood bread made from scratch topped with crab and shrimp and cheese. For the kids, you got chicken tenders and fried shrimp, so you can't go wrong. Bring your seafood appetite to Juicy Seafood at 775 Goodman in South Haven.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Final segment of the program. Always fun to chat with our friend Ron Higgins. Ron, who writes now for TigerDetails.com. That's the Rivals website in Baton Rouge. I just talked with him this morning. Are we having trouble getting him again? Are you sure you got the right number on this? Wow. We were talking, and if we do get him, we'll figure it out. But the biggest change that I have seen in college athletics since I started basically being a reporter, like in school in 1971, the biggest change that I have seen in college athletics comes in baseball. It used to be baseball, part of it is you only had 11 point whatever it is scholarships. Baseball was a loser. You had it like you had other teams, but it wasn't a revenue stream. It wasn't a revenue stream until about 10, 15 years ago, maybe. I believe Mississippi State might have been the first one to really, Texas, USC, those three schools that really started making money. Used to be you had an assistant football coach to supplement his money. You made him the baseball coach. That's probably the biggest change in all of college athletics that I have seen. Let me ask a guy who's been around just about as long as I have, Ron Higgins. Ron, how do you see it?
Well, it used to be it just used to be there. It's like this kind of filled in time between spring football and the start of fall football. That's all it did. I mean, the SEC hardly had anybody go to the World Series, and then Ron Poe came along, Mississippi State, and changed the game. He decided, he kind of showed people that. Well, the first thing he did was he proved to athletic directors that you can make money with baseball. He figured out how to do it. I mean, if you package it right, if you make it a family affair, if you package your tickets right, you recruit athletes that are friendly, that are good with kids who sign autographs. And then after that, LSU had Skip Bertman, and he learned everything he learned from Ron Frazier in Miami. And he learned all the little things that mattered. As Skip once told me, you have to make sure it's a good fan experience. If you have coffee in the concessions, it needs to be hot. The hot dogs need to be cooked. Every little detail. And LSU blew up. And so from there, when AD starts saying we can make money off this thing if we do it right, that's what happened. And it kind of spread. And that's why the SEC is the toughest baseball league in America. Everybody went and got good coaches. They improved their facilities, and they made tickets affordable.
Prior to Skip Bertman, were you telling me that the coach of the baseball team was the equipment manager for football?
Yeah. Two coaches before Skip Bertman, the equipment manager for football was the baseball coach. So a lot of times on a Saturday when they need to practice, he'd be at like a football deal, and they couldn't have in the fall. They couldn't have fall practice for baseball because he was too busy with football. And then it'd be time in the spring where he'd have to run from the football stadium across to the baseball stadium to coach the baseball team. So it was crazy. Yeah, I mean that's it, and that's how people viewed baseball coaches in this league.
Right?
Or they coached several different teams. I mean, a lot of schools in SEC did that. They had guys who coached multiple sports. Shug Jordan of Auburn did it. Got LSU and Harry Ravenhorst did it. He coached basketball, and he coached baseball, and he coached something else. That's just the way it was.
I don't think we've seen that since, late 70s, where that sort of thing, it's all gone away because it started to become bigger business for sure. How many teams in the SEC, even Vandy, because Vandy's always had a good baseball team, won College World Series. How many SEC baseball programs make money now?
Okay, we know LSU makes money. State makes money.
Ole Miss makes money. Arkansas makes a ton of money.
There's 14 teams in the league. I'm thinking almost half the league probably makes money now. Probably 5 to 6 make money at least. I mean, Ole Miss probably makes money.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
Ole Miss baseball outdraws their basketball team when they're up against each other.
Yeah, and I think you'll probably begin to see. Now you probably begin to see that Tennessee baseball will finally make money. They've got a great product and a great coach. He's very charismatic. They're winning. I think they'll start to make money. Yeah, I mean, it's Florida baseball makes money. So I'll probably say at least half the league. But again, like I said, everybody has, improved their stadiums or built new stadiums. I remember when I first started working commercial appeal in like 1984, I believe. Ole Miss's baseball stadium had splintered wooden bleachers that they'd taken from their old football practice field and put it as their baseball stadium bleachers. That was it.
Here's how far we've come, and we get this from Brett Norsworthy, who texts me. Hank Stram was the baseball coach at Purdue, and he was the assistant football coach. This is the Hank Stram that won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Shug Jordan, and they named the football stadium, right? He was the basketball coach at both Georgia and Auburn.
That's right.
Isn't that amazing? It's incredible how it's become big business. It is the biggest change, I think, in college athletics since we've been in the business.
The one thing it does need is that the NC needs to recognize it needs more scholarships.
I agree with that.
And I think it has, I'm guessing, about 11.5 scholarships.
Yeah, I think it's 11.7, but I agree. Give them 15, and that means three and a third more scholarships per team. More kids will play baseball. Honestly, they'll choose to play baseball if they can get a free ride or a partial ride to a school. I think that's part of the reason why football became so popular was that kids that are really good athletes knew they could get a full scholarship if they went that route.
Exactly. I mean, and this. And long after he retired, this still been Ron Polk's mantra. I mean, I think till the day he dies, he's going to push for more scholarships for baseball. And the NCAA needs to allow another assistant coach for baseball. They don't even have that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's like the NCAA is behind the times on baseball.
I think the NCAA is going to be so far behind on everything, they're not going to be in existence in a couple of years, especially if you listen to Dabo Swinney. Ron, we're out of time. We'll do this again next week, though. I always appreciate your chipping in.
All right, Wolo. Well, take care.
You too. Bye-bye. That is Ron Higgins from down in Baton Rouge, our SEC historian. Brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. He's the guy with the eye for details, and he sees the big picture all at once. If you've got land in your family, you've been thinking about that dream house, you're not sure how to utilize the land, I can tell you. Ken Garland knows. And if you are looking for land, Ken Garland has some of that for a major home, if you'd like. Or maybe you love where you are. You want modern amenities, but you don't want to leave your house. He's got a thing called renovation with innovation. You want the California closets. You want the island in the kitchen. You want those fancy granite countertops. Oh, boy, he's got that. He knows how to do it. You want the movie room with the speakers in the wall. He knows how to do that. Just go to kengarland.com, see what I'm talking about, and then call 751-1632. Your dream house is on the way with Ken Garland. Thanks to Ron Higgins and to Russell Copeland. Hey, J-Mo and Bryant, they're next. Stick around.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know,